explain in 30 minutes maybe, all about different services. But the idea today is to have the first kickoff, the first touch, and maybe if the organizer wants in the future, I would be so happy to come back with more specific topics. So let me share my screen in order to start. Okay. A minute. I'm trying to share the, okay. Sorry guys, let me again to try. I'm receiving a message in my computer. What is happening? Okay. Okay, nice. Okay, again, I will share again. Nice. Right now I'm sharing. And let me, okay, let's start. So what is GCP? This is very important. Right now, when you are talking about Google Cloud, we are talking about cloud computing. So in other words, cloud computing means that you can pay for using. In other words, if you are consuming VMs, if you are consuming virtual machines or databases on the cloud, Google Cloud or the provider himself only will cost you only the minutes or only the hours that you are consuming, that you are processing from your different applications. So Google Cloud consists of physical assets, such as computer, hard disk drive, for example, virtual resources, such as virtual machines. You can imagine virtual machine like, for example, when you are using VirtualBox, you are virtualizing the hardware into your computer. So it is a VM. What else? Google Cloud is contained all infrastructure into the Google data centers around the globe. It's amazing. So each data center is located in one specific region. Regions are available in Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. It's so huge around the world. Each region is a collection of zones. So the first concept that you need to understand is that all the resources, all the data centers are located or placed into one specific region. So under the region, you can understand, you can see zones which are isolated from each other within the region. For example, South America. South America, you can see data centers in Chile or Argentina. Or in Australia, you can maybe see or find different data centers in Melbourne or Sydney. So different regions have zones, and hands-on you can identify each zones with the following combination. The first letter is about the name of the region. For example, zone. The zone is, you can see the zone using the different letter. For example, the A in the East Asia region. The name East Asia is one slash or A. It is the simple approach now. So the distribution of resources provides several benefits, including redundancy. It is the most important thing right now because Google is thinking that all the services, you need to have a backup or replication processes. Why? For different disasters around the world, for example, a natural disaster, or maybe one guy that deleted all the information and what specific region, Google trying to avoid this kind of disaster, managing replication around over the world using regions and using zones. Okay, some resources can be accessed by any other resources across regions and zones. These global resources include pre-configured disk images, disk snapshots, and networks. Some resources can be accessed only by resources that are located in one specific region. So These regional resources include static external IP addresses. Other resources can be accessed only by resources that are located in the same zone. These zonal resources include VM instances, their types, and disk. So the idea, the overall about that is you can have resources that you can access around the global resources. For example, people from other countries around the world can access your resources. You can also have resources only specific in your region. So only people or only application located in one specific region can access your resources. And the tier one is by zone. You can have information located in one specific zone, and only people or application located in this zone can access this information. So it is the resources hierarchy about Google Cloud. So the first thing is about organization. It means the company or the university that is using Google Cloud right now. It is the top. It is the main important resource in the hierarchy in Google Cloud, the organization. Behind of that, or under that, you can see the different folders. Imagine folder like departments. For example, the university probably has different departments or different folders. I don't know, science, school, faculty, IT faculty, math faculty, science faculty. So folders, you can use folder in this approach. When your company is so big and you need to split your company into different places, into different departments. Folders are optional, it's not required, of course, because not all the companies has this kind of hierarchy structure. For example, maybe one startup only will have 2 departments or maybe 1. It depends on what kind of company are using Google Cloud. Projects is the tier 1 layer, the green layer here. Each folder can have 1 or more projects associated. So the project is the name, of course, the project that you are working right now. For example, right now we are working on science project, maths project, or one specific application. The most of the people associate the project with one specific application that they are working or they are developing. So, and the last layer is resources. Each project will use resources. What resources? Compute engine, data store, networking, etc., etc. So Google Cloud Group, it services in 3 groups. The first one is about computing. Second one, data storage or storage. And the tier 1, networking. So probably later I will explain you with more details what kind of services you can find here and you can see in the console. So another important section that, of course, you need to understand is about the money. Google Cloud is not free, of course, but Google Cloud, when you are using the first time, or maybe you create your account in the first time, Google Cloud probably will give you free access by 1 year, or you can use $3,000 free in order to use, no, sorry, $300, 3,000 not, $300 in order to use free. You can use this, you can spend this money in order to use in your, I don't know, different activities in the faculty, in the university, or maybe you are testing different applications, you can use that. This is a good approach because Google Cloud wants that the people can understand more about Google services. For the reason they are giving this gift in order that you can use in your own. So, okay, right now I am working by one important company, for example. This company are using Google Cloud. What is the next step? The next step is to create a billing account. The billing account is where you put your credit card, for example, in order that the Google Cloud can consume or can, of course, redeem all the stuff about the using that you are right now using into the different services. Each project are linking to a billing account. So like you can see in this diagram, the billing account is associated with this project. A billing account is required to consume the GCP services. It is mandatory. Of course, you need to be mandatory. Why? Because at the end, again, Google Cloud is not a free service, is not a free cloud. Google Cloud needs to billing or to get the money that you are using or you are consuming from their services. Billing is managed by billing administrator. So it is about roles, about different permissions in order to do that. To change the billing account, you must be an owner of the project or a billing administrator on the billing account. Okay, the first group is about compute options or the computing. So you can divide the compute option in two parts. The first part is about highly customizable. So in other words, you will have all the chances to update the VM feature, for example, memory, CPU, and other stuff. So if you want to use services highly customizable, my recommendation is to use Compute Engine. It's a very basic service. So it's like you are starting a VM. You can choose how many memory you want to use, how much percentage about CPU you want to use, etc., etc. The second one is Google Container, Kubernetes. Right now, Kubernetes is the most used service in Google Cloud. It's very important to understand and to learn. If you want to learn more or maybe to get more opportunities in IT, right now, Kubernetes, Docker containers, all the operation and DevOps stuff is a good way in order to get more opportunities or more job opportunities in the business. So with Kubernetes, you can create nodes, you can create customizable disk and other stuff. But on another hand, there is the highly managed services. It means serverless. This kind of infrastructure consists of managing, or Google will manage all the infrastructure for you. So you only be worried or pay attention only in create code. You put your code into, for example, Cloud Functions, and Google Cloud will manage all the auto-scaling, all the process, all the support and maintaining by you. You are not aware about what is happening behind of the scenes. The cons, or maybe the bad thing about that is you are not aware what is happening behind of scenes. You are believing, you are thinking that Google Cloud is auto-scaling for you, are supporting all the infrastructure by you. But if you want to do a SSH, for example, into one specific machine, you can't, because Google is managed all the infrastructure for you, and the only thing that you can do is put your code into, for example, Google Cloud Functions or Google App Engine in order to execute the thing. So it's very important to understand when you are creating your architecture, what kind of services you want to use. Highly customizable or maybe highly managed by Google. So how to choose compute options? It is a good diagram. So are you a mobile HTML5 developer? Yes. So you can use Firebase. No. Another question. Are you developing an event-driven app, for example? Yes, you can use Cloud Functions. Cloud Function is a service that their approach or its approach is event-driven. So you can trigger different things, and Google Function will understand this trigger and will manage all the things by you. So if not, another question, is your application any one of the following, using a specified OS or kernel or using GPUs? Yes. Okay, you can use Compute Engine. It's a good approach. No. Another question, does your application use or need any of the following? Hybrid or multi-cloud deployment, licensed software, already existing one app, for example? Yes. Another question, will your app be in the containers? No. Compute Engine? Yes. Do you plan to use Kubernetes as your orchestration? Yes, you can use Google Container Engine or Compute Engine. In another side, if you don't want to use, for example, containers, you can use Google App Engine. It is another serverless stuff. So this is a good diagram that I always recommend it to the people in order to make decisions about what kind of compute option they want to use. Okay, what about data storage? Right now, we are talking about the first group. It is about computing. The second group is about data storage. It's very important right now, of course, because you need to storage your information in one place. In Google Cloud, there are 2 ways or 3 ways in order to store data. SQL or structured objects like SQL approach, for example, that entities, tables, etc. You can use unstructured data, for example, a video or image or PDF. So the structure is not quantable. So, and the third one is about NoSQL. For example, Mongo, Redis, etc. These kind of services. So the first question is your data structured? No. Okay. Do you need mobile SDKs? Yes. You can use Google Storage for Firebase. It is an excellent approach. Cloud Storage for Firebase. Do you need mobile SDK? No. You can use Cloud Storage. Cloud Storage is one place where you can put objects. For example, again, videos, images, PDF into the buckets. You can use this information. You can get this information when you want, and there is different prices for using. Okay. Is your data structured? Yes. Is your workload analytics? Yes. Okay, another question. Do you need low latency, read and write access? Yes. Cloud Big Table is the best approach. Right now, all the companies that are working, they are working on Internet of Things, and they are producing and consuming tons of, I don't know, petabytes of information. So they need different services like Cloud Big Table in order to consume petabytes of information by second. So for the reason, Cloud Big Table is a good way. Or for, in other hand, if you want to have one possible tool in order to query stuff or to do big analytics or big data, BigQuery is a good approach. So for example, right now ESPN or Fox Sports, MLB, or MLS, talking about soccer, for example, in the United States, they are using Cloud Big Table and BigQuery. BigQuery for what? What is the idea? For analyzing the percentage of for example, the team players. How percent of the team players are scoring goals? Or for example, how percent of the players are running in one specific side of the pitch? So different kind of data. This company are using BigQuery, for example, in order to get this information, create diagrams, and create different strategies. Sounds crazy, but right now it is the current behavior that the company are using the data. The most important asset in what company is the data. Okay, is your data structured? Yes. Is your workload analytics? No. Is your data relational? Yes. You can use Cloud Spanner or Cloud SQL. Cloud SQL, you can use MySQL, Postgres, and SQL Server right now. So I think so. It is the 3 most important SQL vendors right now in the business. So Google Cloud supports support them. So what happens if your data is not relational? So you can use Firestone for Firebase. It is an amazing opportunity for the people that love to create mobile application. Firestone is a good way. And Cloud Data Store. You can store data not relational, for example, like key value and other formats or JSON formats in order to store the data. What about the networking? For example, this may be more high level or advanced topic, because there are different services here into the networking section about, for example, load balancer, firewalls. Right now, in this year, Google Cloud released the Cloud Armor. Cloud Armor service is a WAF. WAF means Web Application Firewall. So in this way, you can think your application here, and at the top of your web app, you will see a firewall. This firewall will protect you for SQL injection, for DDoS attacks, for example, for hackers. This is another or different strategy that right now Google is thinking about security. So again, VPCs. VPCs mean virtual private cloud. So you can use these VPCs in order to communicate or create subnets, to create public subnets, create gateway, for example, in order to communicate, create private subnets and other stuff. Again, the concept of regions and zones is very important here, because you can store your subnet in one specific, or you can associate one specific zone or region into one specific VPC or subnet, for example. Okay, ways to interact with GCP. It is another very important question. There is 3 ways. The first way is using the web console. In my case, I have experience using AWS, Azure, and GCP. Maybe you are thinking, Gerardo, right now he's working on Google Cloud. Maybe his recommendation always is use only Google Cloud. But no, I know that Google Cloud has bad things, or maybe things that you can, or the company can improve. But right now, about the dashboard, for me, is so friendly. It's very understandable. It's so friendly to navigate, to have interaction with the humans. Is amazing in my case. So it is the first stuff. It is for beginners. If you don't have any experience using any cloud provider, the web console is an excellent way. The second way is using command line. You can download the SDK. The SDK is gCloud. It is free. You can install gCloud into your computer, and you can create, you can configure your project into your computer, and you can interact with Google Cloud using SDK. For example, in this command here that you are seeing, or I am showing you, this command is responsible for creating a compute instance. So right now I am creating a virtual machine name example instance. Image family is Real 8. The image project is Real Cloud, and the zone is US Central 1 8. So you can create different stuff or different resources using the web console or using SDK. The third way is using API calls. Maybe it is this is the hacker guy, the guy that doesn't want to use console and doesn't want to use SDK. At the end, behind the scenes, commands and the UI works using APIs, works using calls from API from Google. So for that reason, you can maybe call one specific endpoint in order to create a resource in Google Cloud. But of course, I think so. The more recommended way, it depends on what you want to do. For example, if you are a manager, for example, probably the manager doesn't matter to use the commands, of course, because they want to use more friendly interface or more friendly interaction with the tool itself. So for the reason, probably a manager will use the web console. But maybe you are a DevOps, maybe you are a SysOps admin, and you want to automate one process. You want to automate one process into your computer, and probably SDK is a good option to do that. So it depends on your needs, or depends on what you want to do. Okay, let me go to the console. It is the Google console right now. Super easy. The only thing that I need to do was to sign in using my account. So let me sign in again. Oops, no. I use another account. Falcon Coach, password. It's totally easy, guys. So if you, right now you have a Gmail account, you can go to console cloudgoogle.com and that's it. You can sign out, you can sign in, create an account. Google will detect that it is the first time, your first time. Google probably will show you the opportunity to catch the gift card. For example, like I mentioned in the beginning, $300 in order to use different services. So here, very important, you need to select what project right now are using. You can configure different stuff, for example, communication, language, region, personalization. Here, you can use the classic hamburger or the classic navigation behavior that Google offers in different ways, for example, in mobile version and web application. So for me, it's so understandable and friendly. Like I explained you, there are 3 ways or 3 groups: compute, storage, databases, networking, so operations, tools, etc., etc. You can navigate, go through all that you want here. For example, let me go to compute options. Compute option, you can see virtual machine instances. There are all the virtual machines right now are working on. You can use the machine images, instance templates, etc., etc. Again, guys, if I don't know, it is an overall, to be honest, it's so huge. I'm trying to explain all about Google Cloud, but the idea is you can have the first interaction about that, and maybe in the future we can talk more about one specific service. So what else? You can see the billing, the API. So Google works using APIs, like I told you guys. So if you want to activate or enable or disable one specific API, it is the dashboard. You need to go to APIs and services, go to dashboard, and you will see all the APIs enabled right now. For example, if you want to deactivate or disable Cloud SQL, click on Cloud SQL, go to disable API, and that's it. It means that if you want to use, if you disable this API, you was not able to use Cloud SQL or another Cloud SQL driver into your project using Google Cloud, for example. So for the reason, make sure, pay attention to this kind of enabling or disabling resources in order to avoid different or probably different misunderstanding in the future. What else about AEM? AEM is a global service. I think so. It's the only global service. What means? It means that this service is not associated with any region. It is global. Everybody can use that, and everybody can see the information. So here in IAM, you can see the users that right now have access to the project. You can see the roles, because Google Cloud works using roles and permissions. So for example, if you are a user, a developer, probably the admin of the project, of this project, will assign you one specific role, so one specific permission. But maybe if you are a leader, you will have more permission because you have more responsibilities. So remember, responsibilities implies more job, more assignments, more responsibilities. So more roles implies more assignments, more responsibilities. What else? The roles has permissions, for example. So you can assign one role a one specific user. Okay, let me go here. For example, this one user, Falcon Coach, this is the owner of the project because it is my project. For the reason I have the owner, but I can edit different stuff. For example, clicking here in this pencil, I can add more roles, or maybe I can remove role from myself or from whatever or from whoever resource or user in this project. So here you can see the member with this email and what project is associated. So how many projects can I have? All the projects that you are able to pay. If you want to create a new project, click here and that's it. The information that you need to fill out is simple. It's about the organization that you are working on, the name of the project, and here is a disclaimer. Okay, you have 23 projects remaining in your quota. What means if you want to increase that, you need to send a request quota to Google Cloud explaining what is the reason that you want to have more of 23 projects in your billing account, and Google Cloud agent will contact you and you need to talk and to discuss what is the reason, and if everybody agree about that, they will increase your quota. So, but I think so, to be honest, I don't know any company that has more about 23 projects right now. Okay, what else? Privacy, security. Another stuff is about Kubernetes engine. You can see the cluster here. You can see all the information about that, the workload, the service, application, the storage, networking, for example, network service, load balancing. So here is my load balancing, my load balancer here with this name. It is the IP address. So it is the server host name. It is interesting to know. I want to do a test. Maybe I would appreciate if we want or someone can access this URL. So I want to see if my load balance is working, because behind of scenes, I created my load balances in 2 regions, in America and Europe. For obvious reason right now, the region closer than me is US. But in your case, I want to do what is happening. Maybe one organizer I would appreciate if can access this information that I sent in the chat. I would appreciate if somebody can test that or can get in order to see what server host name show you.
If I can see it when I put that in the URL.
Sorry?
So do you want us to put that in?
Ah, okay, nice. Jen told me, okay, you see, oh, interesting. Okay, but it looks like right now, the load balancer is thinking or detecting, okay, the same. Okay, nice. It's weird. Okay, okay, let me see the map. Australia. I don't know, to be honest, who is closer from you, US or Europe? Okay. Makes sense here. because at the end it is a globe, probably is closer to go to US in order to go to Asia, Africa, and Europe here. I don't know. This I am supposing right now, but my load balancing is working on that. Probably the load balancing is detecting that in your specific location is closer, go to Asia, to America in order to go Europe. Okay, what else? So here you can see, for example, backend services. It is my instant group or my server located in Europe. It is the zoned, healthy. I can create checkpoints in order to make sure that my load balancer is working and my backend services are healthy. The auto scaling, for example, right now, I am using 80% of CPU utilization. It means if my server are getting more about this percentage, this system group will auto-scale automatically. The minimum server that right now I am configured is 1, and the maximum is 10 server. So with this approach, I can try to auto-scale automatically without human intervention and with humans approval, for example. So let me go here, Europe, backend. You can see all the information and stuff. External API, yes, it is the Europe. But my load balancer right now is redirecting right now to America. So what else? Okay, guys, the last thing, maybe before questions. If you want storage information, you can go to storage here. You can see file store. File store, it is like, for example, FTP. If you want to have use a FTP protocol, you can use file store, for example. Data transfer, it is a good service because right now, data transfer, you can transfer data between cloud providers. It is a boom opportunity, for example, from companies that have legacy data in AWS or Azure. Google Cloud is open to interact with other providers. So with data transfer, you can get information from AWS into Google Cloud. Is so important, this kind of service from the customer. Storage, you can go with storage. You can store the information into buckets. Right now, there is not any bucket. You can create a bucket, and you can configure the different stuff. So I want to recommend you to use this page, the Cloud Girl. The Cloud Girl, it is she is a partner. She is a co-worker or colleague in Google. She is an excellent Google advocate, creating this kind of stuff. It's so interesting. So if you want to know more about, for example, compute option, Cloud SQL, it is a good recommendation. So probably there are questions. I don't know. I am open to hear or to listen questions. I will try to answer all your question about Google Cloud. I don't know, are questions, something like that, suggestions? So right now it is the moment for asking.
Guys, so feel free, if you guys have any question, to unmute yourself and just talk up, or if you prefer, just type it in the Zoom chat.
There's one question in the Zoom chat. Can you show us a live example of a project run on GCP? I'm not sure if that's been answered.
Oh yeah, it was. I think is the IP address that you shared was the answer to this question, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have a different question. So with the data transfer that you just showed us, and the main question is, I'm sure you're expecting this question. Why Google Cloud Platform over AWS or Azure or other? So what additional, what does it offer that's different than the other cloud providers?
Mhm. Okay, it's a good question. Right now, Google Cloud, or all the cloud providers have the same offers, to be honest. For
Yeah.
example, three groups, again, compute, storage, and networking. But right now, maybe for me, in my personal opinion, Google Cloud take advantage from other providers in Kubernetes, in Docker, in containers, in auto-scaling. Why? Because Kubernetes service was created by Google. Three next year, Google offers Kubernetes to Cloud Foundation. It is an open source project in order that Kubernetes become to open source project. So in this case, right now, the most important architecture is using microservices, is using containers. For this reason, Google Cloud has worked a lot in this service. And right now, the most of the service or the most of company, if they want to use container, they are making decisions or thinking to move to Google Cloud and not AWS, for example. AWS right now is working with AKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service, but it is very basic if you compare both services. Right now, Kubernetes engine from Google is the most stable and most used Kubernetes version. So I think so. This is maybe the most important offer that Google Cloud right now I'm doing. In addition, about BigWare integration with on-premise services is another way that another cloud provider has not. For example, the integration con BigWare, because, for example, one company, they want to continue using their on-premise servers. It makes sense because they have one specific agreement by 2 years or something like that, and they are with different agreement. They need to continue with these on-premise services, but at the same time, they want to continue or to start to the migration from on-premise services to cloud. So with this kind of integration, Google Cloud is offering the opportunity to the companies, okay, you can continue working with your on-premise, but if you want to migrate slowly your data or your services to the cloud, it is the opportunity. So I can help you. So I think so it is the two most important offers that Google Cloud right now is doing about the Kubernetes and integration with third-party cloud providers stuff. So in my personal opinion.
Yeah. It's actually hard to choose. There are so many options. And everyone has something specific that you would need. So we need them all at the end of the day. You need all of them if you want to have the best of everyone. Right? But what I really like here is the platform. It's really clean and easy to navigate.
Yeah, I think so. It's a very important stuff. For customer, we are receiving feedback from customer people that they are not engineers, or maybe their background is management or financial and other stuff, and they are able to understand how to navigate. For us, it's so important that the customer, it doesn't matter what is their background, they can understand the web page. So, because at the end, I don't want to be bad things. I don't want to say bad things about another provider, but if you compare, guys, the dashboard from Google Cloud to another one, it is a mesh. So Google Cloud
Yeah.
is.
It is a mess. I did attend some other events and I don't know, I got some epilepsy, I guess.
Yeah, exactly,
There are
makes
so
sense.
many things. Yeah, it's important to have a clean interface.
Yeah,
And
totally makes sense.
Sweet. I just got another question on the Zoom chat. So, what do you think the future of cloud looks like? Because a lot of people are adopting it now. So, do you think, like, is there any innovation kind of left in cloud services anymore? Or do you think this is like the best we achieve?
Mm, let
Or
me think.
is there a
Mhm.
reason why people may not go onto the cloud? Something stopping them to do that?
Oh, to be honest, I don't know. Maybe I think so. We are receiving different feedback from the clients and maybe or people or startups. And the first thing that they say or they tell us is secure? Is the first question that we are receiving every day. Is secure? What happened with my data? What happened if one hacker can attack us? And our question and our answer always is, guys, how many or how much percentage every day are you using the Google search? Oh, all the day. Okay,
Yeah.
we support we support it is our service. Google search is our product, so it's totally secure. We are using all the protocols. Guys, you can imagine all the day we are receiving thousands of attacks from people. Of course, they want to destroy us. They want to try to, I don't know, yeah, to filter our information to the world. But we have an excellent team of security about all kind of stuff. So for the reason we are totally secure. Um, we are comfortable that our services right now it is a good option. Being honest, mm, the battle is not easy because we came to the party late. It is the truth because AWS came first. Maybe 1 year before to us came to Azure, but right now we are doing an excellent job because this kind of initiative, for example, GDEs, student club, and other stuff around the world, we are unique, guys. You are unique because there is not another cloud provider with this kind of initiative. Because our goal is in the next 5 years, on 10 years, I think so, 6 years is maybe the number 2 or why not the number 1 provider. It is our goal. And so we are getting that. Because, for example, there is not a student club about AWS in Australia. I don't know. Here in Costa Rica, there is not. In the US, there is not. So for the reason, I think so, we are working very well with this kind of strategy, and the people, in this case, you guys, you can give us feedback. For us, it's very important that you can interact with the application, you can compare, you can give pieces of advice. So for the reason, and again, we appreciate all the things that you are doing. Um, I hope that you can give us suggestions, feedback, because at the end, we want to grow along you guys.
It's true. I think all the questions we get in the group, in the Zoom chat.
I think there's like if in 5 years, like you said, you wanna be like increase your market exposure, the most important thing would be to communicate to people that the privacy things that you're doing, because I don't know why people lost their trust. A lot of people lost their trust after this thing happened in Australia, when every time I used to Google something, there was this pop-up saying that privacy has changed at Google and your information can be shared with I don't know who and what and where. So I think it's building trust again.
Yeah, I think so. It did the goal. It did our goal in order to continue improving the trust from the people, because at the end,
and it's
the
not a
people need the reason.
competition with others. It shouldn't be a competition between Amazon and Google and Microsoft. As long as it's a competition, then it's chaos, because everyone is doing the same thing with different services and different, and then we get lost at the end of the day. So that's what my opinion. Yeah.
Valid.
But I really enjoyed this event, and I really like the Google Cloud platform. I'm gonna actually try it.
And yeah, don't forget, you do get the $300 free credit when you do.
I thought 3,000, but yeah, 300 is good as well.
that should last you quite a while, I guess, depending on what you do. Sweet. So
thanks a lot.
Hand it over to Paul now to just talk about our next event and the survey we have regarding this event.
I'll just say quickly, thank you, Gerardo. I know it's probably difficult for you. It's around your dinner time. You're probably hungry and want to eat. So all the way from Costa Rica, we're just waking up. So we've all had our breakfast and just listening in. So thank you for your time and for your effort in preparing the presentation. And thank you to everyone who's attended. I hope you all learned something. It's very insightful. I think we've got as well on the slides, the next slide, it has a image of our next event, which is on the 31st, on the 31st of October, for Google Cloud. Also, we have, if you go onto the, is it on the DSC community page yet, Kunj?
The survey?
The sign up or the survey for the next event?
Oh yeah, so we should be posting that on our social media page, so you could sign up from there. That would be much easier.
Yeah, so that sign up will be up soon, and the survey should already be up already. So thank you all.
Sweet. Thanks again, Gerardo. And hopefully we could have another more specific event where you could talk about one of the more specific technology that Google Cloud offers in another event.
Yes, of course. Again, thank you for having me. This was very pleasure for me to be here. If we want to maybe continue with interaction with me, I can share. I don't know if you give me the chance to share my Twitter. It is Hello Falcon. I am writing in the chat. Here, I am active Twitter guy, so we can share and discuss. And maybe if you need something from me, I am totally able, very happy, very glad to help you guys. Again, thank you. See you.
Thanks, Gerardo. Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Gerardo.